Um, I can tell you about the second last expedition I was on, and that was to the island Swains, the expedition Whiskey 8 Sierra. Which one of you have worked W8S? Okay, a lot of them. For who was it a complete new one? Okay, great. Perfect. That is the way we are doing it, going on expedition to give many of you a new country or a complete new DXC. Okay, the previous expeditions to Swains, you can see it on the list over there. They said the QSO rate of them was, the QSO amount was more than 100,000 QSOs. So one of the things they wanted to do over there, at least 100,000 QSOs, if it was possible. The time over at that time, it was number 28 on the most wanted list. So it was a lot of demand from all the amateurs around the world, not only from Europe, but from everywhere. And I know especially from Western Europe, it was number 19 on the most wanted list. Swains Island is an uninhabited island. Nobody's living there for the last 25 years. So if you go there, you have to take everything with you. There's nothing on the island. And one of the things we wanted to do to make the first EME QSOs on 6 meters. This is how the island looks like. It's not big. In the middle is a big lagoon. I think there were approximately 100 meters of coconut trees, and then you are from the lagoon to the beach. If you're walking around the island, in 2 hours you are back on the place where you started. You can see on the right one over here, there are still a few houses left, and the church, and that's it. But the houses are completely, most of them are completely destroyed by the hurricanes. And you see also one entrance to the island, that's over here. That is the way to go to the island. And you can only do that by high tide. If it is low tide, forget it. It is impossible. Oh. I think it was one too fast. Yeah. The team consists of 10 operators and 10 people for supporting. The complete support team that was there, that will come with us, they will build the complete stations, the tents, the kitchen area, the showers, the toilet. They will do everything for us. One of the points is Swains Island is owned by a family. It's a family island. It's a private island from the Jennings family. Many years ago, they around 1700, they owned the island. They exchanged it for a few ducaten and also for a barrel of rum. And from that moment, the island was from the family Jennings. So if you do something, if you want to go to the island, you always have to get the permission of the Jennings family. And Alex Jennings is the representative of the family for Swains Island. And we started in 2016 with our first communications with Alex, that we said, okay, we like to go to the island to activate it. So 2023 was our second attempt. So it was 6 years, nearly 7 years between it before we at least went to the island. So the preparation is a lot. It is not quite easy to do it. So don't think I'm calling tomorrow and I will be there in 1 week later. It's a little bit complicated. So our purpose was to build the 2 stations, a red camp and a blue camp, separated at least 400 meters from each other, so that we can be active on maybe some bands with 2 stations at the same time. Every camp would have 3 radios, and in total we had 17 antennas. So it's a lot of work to accomplish that on the island. A lot of bandpass filters. Every station had low power bandpass filter and high power bandpass filters. We had a temporary setup for 6 meters. At least 1000 meters of coax cable with us. PETS cables. Generators, we had 5 generators available. Computer network, within a camp there was access point with where the computers were connected to each other, and also the boat camps were connected by a Wi-Fi bridge. So there's one big network for the computers. And what else do you need? A lot of water and a lot of food. But one of the lucky thing was Alex Jennings arranged all those things, all those facilities for us. The tents will be arranged, the generators were arranged, the food, the drinks, all those things, the beds in the tents, the chairs, the tables. Otherwise, if you have to arrange those things from Europe on that island over there, that was impossible. So we were lucky that all those things were arranged by Alex Jennings. This is the team. You see 10 operators. And what some of them, maybe you noticed there are more operators from the Netherlands than ever before on the expedition. We were 5 operators from the Netherlands. In the beginning, the first attempt it was only 3, but later on it was 5. And I must also say that most of the organization of this expedition was done by the Dutch team. The equipment, most of the radios were the aircraft K3 or K3S's. All the antennas over there, because we were on the beach, the best antenna on the beach is a VDA, a vertical antenna. And the VDA is a 2 elements vertical. Quite simple, but perfectly effective. That is great antennas. And we had one hex beam with an triplexer between it. So one camp was using the normal bands with the hex beam, and the other camp was using the verticals. One of the profits over there is if one is pointing horizontal and the other one is pointing vertical, you have approximately 30 dB less interference of each other. We had for both camps, or the red camp as the blue camp, a complete layout with all the antennas, all the coax cables. You see over here the lengths of the coax cables. Everything was prepared in advance. So all the cables were marked. This is for this antenna. That cable is for that antenna. Labels on it. Blue label for a blue camp. Red label for the red camp. So everything was prepared in advance. So if you were on the island, you can take all the cables, you don't have to measure it, everything is ready, and everything was tested in advance. This in the test, okay? Yeah. Oh. Sorry. Okay. You see over here in this cable is a little bit short. Yes. Better? Better?
Well, it's
the other side. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. You see over here the scheme of the complete radio setup with all the bandpass filters, cables and so on. Also the cables between the radios, everything was prepared, all was new cables. So take a set of cables, put the radio on, everything was working fine. Everything was tested in advance. On the tables we had 3 radios, radio 1, 2 and 3. Radio 3 was the spare radio, and most of the time that radio was running FT8. We made also some wooden plates with all the bandpass filters. The plates were also prepared on in American Samoa, on Pago Pago. So on the island we fixed it, put the bandpass filters on it, and it was ready. So if you change bands, you only have to change the coax cable on the bandpass filter, and then you were ready for the other band. So everything was prepared perfectly. This was at my house before we went over there, collect all the equipment. All the equipment, you see coax cables, mast, everything. Everything was sorted. We have 6 boxes, and every box there was 3 boxes for Camp Blue and 3 boxes for Camp Red, and all the equipment was in there. So if you're on the island, we have to send 3 boxes to Camp Blue and the other boxes to Camp Red, and everything was there. Approximately 330 kilograms of equipment. Our departure from Amsterdam, and we arrived the whole team on Hawaii, and from Hawaii we went to American Samoa. So first we went to from Amsterdam to Los Angeles, from Los Angeles to Honolulu, Hawaii, and from Hawaii American Samoa. And the last part of the trip was by boat, and that was on the way to Swains, 36 hours. That was the first evening in the hotel. At that time we met Alex Jennings, our host, over here. We had already contact with him for 6 years, but it was the first time we saw him in live. The boxes were arrived 14 days before we were on American Samoa, and we heard from Alex, he said the boxes are very big damaged. So most of the boxes are not usable anymore. I don't know what they have done with the boxes, but you see a picture over here. From the 6 boxes, there were only 2 boxes that we could use again. So we repaired those boxes. You see it over here. We got some help to enforce the boxes with the equipment. And we have to be aware that if you're coming back from Swains, we had only 1 day left to transport the boxes again to Europe. So we had to make we had to make new boxes or something else for transporting all the equipment back. So we were 3 days in advance on American Samoa, on Pago Pago, so we could prepare a lot of things. We had to do some shoppings. Over here you see we had some pipes, 6-meter pipes, for the hex beam and for the 6-meter antenna. We have made an arrangement for a new FT8 operator. And those you see are the boxes over here, 2 boxes reinforced, and we bought some other plastic boxes for the rest of the equipment. The generators, we had 5 of them. Transportation on the island. I was at the hotel with all the operators. What we did in the hotel, also prepare all the radios. We tested all the radios, we connect them to the laptops and so on. So everything was working perfectly. One of the mornings we had an invitation from the local radio station, the FM station over there, to give an interview to tell them what we were going to do on the island. And what we also heard that when we were there, Alex Jennings told us that our trip was postponed by 2 days, at least. the company asked us, can you postpone your expedition for 1 week? We said, no way, that's impossible, we cannot postpone it. But one of the points was that the weeks before we were over there was a lot of bad weather. And they had to ship a lot of equipment to the other islands. And they said, we have a backlog and we have to go at least 2 or 3 times to the other islands to bring stuff over there. We said, it's impossible for us. A little bit negotiated and we arranged it that we had only 2 days postponement. And the last day we first, instead of going directly to Swains, we first went to the island To, to Ofu, and then to Swains. So the way to Swains took us 36 hours. That is normally 24 hours. This was Manu Atela, the ship that will bring us to Swains. You see, it was already loaded with all kind of other stuff for other islands. And when we were there was also another ship in the harbor. That is the ship, that's the RIB, the radio in the box. That is going to the Pacific a lot of times to all kind of islands. That was also in the harbor of Pago Pago. And we met the operators in our hotel. It was nice. The day of our departure, there were 2 containers were completely loaded with all our equipment. You see the barrels of petrol. And this was the last evening at the harbor before our departure. We're eating over there some seafood. Well, most of us were very seasick, and I'm quite sure that most of this food was already was dumped in the sea. Some security, they told us what to do with the life jackets and so on before we went on board. And this is the whole team on board. Sitting over here. And after 2 hours, most of the team members were outside and they were seasick. A short, small video. It was terrible. I was lucky, I was one of the guys that was not seasick. But there was one guy, Evert, PA3EWP, he was very seasick. Halfway he wanted to jump overboard. There was the arrival at the island To. I hope it is working. It's not working, that's a pity. Ah, okay, it's coming. There is some audio with it. Ah. Yeah. Doesn't matter for this one. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, and in the morning, this was the first site site for Swains Island. A little bit later. And this is what we were hoping for it to go for 6 years. We're working that for more than 6 years to go there. This is the landing vessel. This is the only, with the landing vessel, it was the only way to get to shore. I'll continue. And there was also a small boat for the operators. Loading all the stuff. I think they were busy for 3 hours and then all the stuff was on the island. I think it is loading something from the internet. But when all the stuff came on shore, we put it directly for Camp Blue, Camp Red, and so on. So everything was sorted on the beach. You see, bringing all our stuff. Ah, okay. Yes, it's coming back. You see, everything was marked. Over here, you see the at the bottom, the green camp. That was where the kitchen was, the sleeping tents, and then the houses. The church was over there. This Camp Red, Camp Blue. There was more than 400 meters walking over here to Camp Red, and nearly 400 meters walking to Camp Blue. You see all the antennas, everything was marked, and we had to bring all the equipment over there. But we are lucky that we had transportation on the island. You see, they brought all the equipment to the right place. And we started immediately building the antennas because we wanted to be active in the evening. Some pictures of building the antennas. The bandpas filters. Some pictures of Camp Red. What we had a Starlink connection for the internet, and that was working perfectly. We had also live streaming from there, video streaming. We did live conversations and so on. You see, 1 on 64 megabit speed, so perfect. Some more pictures. You see over here the EME antenna for 6 meters. That is max. And you see over here, the operators were protected against the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes over on the island, they told us in advance, all the other teams that were there, they said, be aware, mosquitoes and rats. Those are the two enemies on the island. And the mosquitoes were heavy. They were big, the big tiger mosquitoes were that. This was our 6 meter station. It was one of the other radios. Normally we had the K3s with us, but they told us before, they said the flex radio will be much better for EME on 6 meters instead of the K3. So at the end we have changed it, and that was the K3, the flex radio. I must say, we have also, we got two from RF kit, we got 2 amplifiers. They said to us, try them, take them with you, use them, and give us some comments if it is working or not. And I must say, they worked perfectly over there. High band, the filters, again the 6 meter antenna, and I hope there is no audio with it, because that would be nice. I don't know. Yeah. I try it, otherwise I have to skip this one. I hear some audio over here.
Oh, right, so it's coming through on those speakers there. Somebody needs to sort that out, so it's coming out on the USB speakers.
Huh. Yeah, okay. So, yeah.
If you could speak up a bit, I'm really struggling with the audio level because you're so close to the speaker.
So
If you just speak up a bit.
okay, just without.
That works.
Yeah. Okay. No.
So the Windows sound's coming through there, so I can't really see why.
No. Yeah. Ah.
Okay, you're on video.
After so many days of work, and until now we are almost making a QSO. Oh, look at that! Not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
6 meter FT8.
Yeah, we're pushing 1.2 kilowatt, but we're getting there.
Okay, hang
A
on.
few more seconds. Don't go away. Don't go
Okay.
away. We'll see. Look. It's happening. It's happening. The first QSO.
The RF kit is doing its job here.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Coming along.
coming along a kilowatt on 6 meters
Yeah.
plus.
No smoke, no fires. Yeah! First QSO!
Okay.
Yay!
Who's the lucky?
Juliet Alpha 7 Quebec Victor India! Yay!
Say it again. What's your call sign again?
Juliet Alpha 7 Quebec Victor India.
Okay. I think I'm gonna post this on the YouTube channel. Okay. 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 Say goodbye. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
You can be very enthusiastic about it. So, one of the other things what I like to say, I already have said that there is the two enemies on the island, mosquitoes and rats. You see the operator how he's protected, but at the bottom over there, the rats were everywhere. The first days it was not so big a problem, but after they noticed that there was coming in a lot food, after the second and the third day, the rats were in the kitchen, everywhere they were. Yeah, they came everywhere from the island. Oh, there is food. They were coming. That's right. Yeah. One of the other things was very nice. There was turtles on the beach. There were a lot of eggs, and I think there were a few hundreds of them coming out when we were operating. So the turtles running everywhere. This was one of the setups on the station. And what you see, it was quite simple to operate two stations FT8 at the same time. And what I did a lot of times, most of my time I was a CW or SB operator, and the second station was next to me, was always FT8. And one of the things we have said, if you are doing FT8, there has to be an operator there. So we were also running W8S TX in Fox and out mode, so there has to be an operator at that time. So there was a decision of the whole team that there was an operator sitting at the station, because I know that there was a lot of discussions without automatically running stations, that they don't allow it for kind of awards. We said, okay, we don't take the risk. There will always be an operator behind the radio. Some pictures of Camp Blue. And what you see over here, that the tent is very close to the water line. And a few times with high tide, the waves were coming into the tent. But there was no more space. If we put the camp further away, at that time there was no space at all. The beach was very small, so this was the only place to put it. Some pictures of the antennas. You see, most of the antennas were the VDA antennas. One of the things that when we were on the island, we had arranged in advance iron bars for key points. Had to put them in the sand. And we were on the island. They were never arrived there because they were still in the warehouse. They forgot them to load them on the ship. So we had to find something else. Luckily on the island they had a lot of bags over there, so we put sand and coral in it, and that was our key point at that time. Some base of the vertical, there was the 160 meter antenna. The first day it was, this was a little bit lower, but the waves were smashing all the time they came to the antenna, and the SWR was changing all the time. So we put it a little bit up and problem was solved. A lot of you will ask what was the temperature on the island. Now you see over here it was around 6 o'clock in the evening, temperature was 31 degrees and the humidity 70%. But a lot of times the temperature was around 40 degrees and the humidity was 95%. And I can tell you that is hot. That is terrible. Everything what you're doing, you are sweating. In the morning, if you change your clothes, if you wake up, you took some clothes from your back, and they were still wet. Everything was wet. So you get used to it, but it's not nice. Sorry? No problems at all. So that what we always do in that time, if you're not operating, leave all the equipment running. Don't turn it off. If you turn it off, you get problems, but leave it running. So that's important. You see the waves are coming close to the tent. Yes. Okay. A lot of times in the morning, if you wake up, or if you have a shift that changed, you are walking over there, you saw there's another antenna was falling down, so you have to put it up. But there was no much damage to the antennas. That's one of the advances. A VDA antenna is very light, it's not complicated, so that was good. Some other station, and what we also did for the expert amplifiers, we had some additional fans for it, so that the air will flow very easily through the amplifiers. One disadvantage, all the mosquitoes that's coming in, they will be completely smashed to the amplifier. That was the tiger mosquito. Ooh. So what happens, operator was operating over there with gloves on, long trousers, long sleeves. It was terrible. And that with a temperature around 40 degrees. So some people saying, on expedition if you're going on expedition, there's luxury and so on, that's perfect, but you see, it is not always perfect. That's Johannes. And you see over here, on the right corner, the flag of GMDX. That's the FT8 operator. I must say, he was sitting there all the time, operating 2 stations. He was only doing FT8. He said, no, I don't do FT, I do SSB, FT, just FT8. And he was sitting there for hours and hours. Yeah. Because of the heat, the temperature, the humidity, you get tired. And you fall asleep immediately. If you were sitting down, you were asleep. The generators, I must say the generators has worked perfectly. No interference, they run for all days, 24 hours. And the fuel was exchanged by the support crew, so we don't have to take any care of it. Great. Some parts of Johannes. I hope that it is working with SSB.
Kilo 2 Foxtrot Romeo VK2FR.
VK2FR, is your 59?
Thanks for 5 and 9, you're also 59.
Thank you. Whiskey 8 Sierra, listening up. Papa Zulu Japan. Zulu Japan.
Whiskey 5 Zulu Japan, you're 59 Arkansas QSL.
QSL, Whiskey 5 Zulu Japan 59, Whiskey 8 Sierra, listening up. Ending Delta Oscar. QSL, Juliet Romeo 8 Hotel, November Oscar 59. QSL Foxtrot November Oscar 59.
Okay, I can continue with that, but you can listen on the, if you go to YouTube, it is still there, the videos and with the audio. This was also a live stream. Everybody could see, and when we were on the island, could live listen to the audio and see the video. Some pilot from CW. Okay. This was our schedule. We had 5 teams with 2 operators, and 2 were active on Camp Red, 2 were active on Camp Blue. And this was our shift. We had a 3-hour shift, 4-hour shift, and a 5-hour shift. And we all noticed after a few days it was very exhausted. Too exhausted. It was a little bit too. We thought it would be easily, but over there, with the heat, sleeping less was too much. But we finished it till the end, so that was okay. But at the end, we have said next time we have to make a complete other schedule, because this is too heavy for a person. Well, in the beginning, the first 2 days, we were, if we have operator with exchange, we had to walk to Camp Red and to Camp Blue, and then you exchanging the operators over there. But if you do that, let's say around 12 o'clock in the afternoon, with the sun burning 40 degrees, and you have to walk approximately 1 kilometer, it's terrible. You're completely exhausted if you are at the station at that time. So luckily we have arranged that the next time they will bring us very luxury by taxi to our camp. And even in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock, they wake up and they exchange the operators. They brought us over there and the other operators be back to a sleeping area. And you see that they also brought the fuel to the generators. They refilled it. Everything was done. You see, even in the middle of the night. So, one day one of the points was that the Jennings family was there. He was there, Alex Jennings with his wife and a few other family members. And they wanted to replace the gravestone of their grandparents because they had never a nice gravestone, and they made it on Pago Pago and they installed it over there. So, and one day we went over there to the other side of the island. This is the old house of his grandparents. There's nothing left on the house. It is completely destroyed. And this was with the graveyard. So they make two complete new stones, and they installed it over there. So that was one of the goals of the family when they were there. This is Alex Jennings with his wife, his half brother, and his wife. This is how the whole island looks like. Palm trees, some beach, and the sea. This was inside the lagoon. They were also on the island. He has lived on the island till his 12th birthday, and then he went away. And he had always said, "I like to go back to Swains Island." And now he had the opportunity to join us to see the island. And he told us if he has the possibility to stay there, he would stay on the island. I don't know why, but okay. Yeah. Some pictures of the Camp Greens that we are calling it. That was the kitchen area and the sleeping area. This was the kitchen area. Over here we were sitting, over here and there was where the food was prepared. And you see there was a lot of food. And if you are sitting there, you saw the rats running around all the boxes. I must say, the ladies on the island, they prepared food perfectly. Nothing to complain. It was excellent. I think he's loading now another video. Now, the three ladies that were there on the island, they prepared food. In the morning we had nice breakfast. In the afternoon, most of the time a snack, and in the evening a warm meal. Most of the time fish, but it was perfect. And of course coconuts. And you see the locals. The support crew. They were fishing. So you know, in the evening we have fish again. Sushi, that's right. It was perfectly prepared. And this is another specialty on the island Swains. That is the cocos crab. There's only those exist only on 2 islands. I don't know the other island, but one of them is Swains, and they taste perfectly. Great.
Bananas when they're green, we boil them and it becomes a starch for us, like. So we boil some bananas. We also have rice that's coming out, and we have a plate of chop suey that's going to be here. Wow. And here's the plates.
This is amazing.
You see over there, all the food that they prepared is perfect. This was the complete family and a part of the support crew. Yeah, okay. So after the shift, what will you do? Nothing else to do on the island, so you were sitting there and have a nice conversation with each other. And one of the things was, alcohol was not allowed on the island. So we had no alcohol at all on the hill in the time that we were there on the island. And sometimes it is raining. And at that time they're collecting the water for washing and so on, because water is very important. And you could also drink that water. Those were our sleeping areas. So 2 tents for the operators. And inside the tent we have a small other tent for the mosquitoes. Was air mattress on it, and you could sleep there. And one of the other advances was, if you are sleeping, the rats will stay outside of your bed. But if you are working there in the evening, the rats were running everywhere. This was our shower. Simple, but it worked. Sometimes you have to do some washing. And this was our toilet building. I must say it was a very luxury. I've been on islands that was completely nothing. This was the area where the crew members were sleeping. The generator at the kitchen. This is Alex Jennings with his wife. We gave him a nice plaque for supporting our expedition. And also another plaque to put it on the wall on Swains Island for remembering the W8S expedition. The whole team. This is the church. After, I think it was a big hurricane, all the houses went down on the island, only the church was the only building that survived. And I think the building is from around 1700, something like that. On Sunday, of course, there was a church service. It was at the end of the service. This is the whole team waiting for the dinner. This was one of the last days. But you see, there was enough drinks and so on, so there was nothing to complain about the food and the drinks on the island. The last day waiting for the ship, that the ship would come. And then it was the last day in the morning, around 3 o'clock we have to wake up. And we already took a lot of stations down at that time. Most of the stations were already down. And we collected all the equipment to bring it back to the Manuatela, to the ship. And here's everybody working on it to bring it back. Because we had only a few hours time with high tide that the landing vessel could come to the island. Yes. The box there is 50 kilogram. Ah! So all the equipment, everything what we had with us, that they brought to the island, all things have been back again. So there's nothing left on the island. So the refrigerators, the fridges, all things that they had, tables, the tents, everything is back again on the ship. Yep. You see over here, loading everything again on in the containers on the ship. And that was our last view of Swains Island. And then we had 24 hours sailing back to Pago Pago. And when we came on Pago Pago, there was only one person was very happy, and that was Evert, PA3EWP. He was seasick on the way to Swains Island, and he was seasick on the way back to Ireland. And he said, never, never, never again on a ship. Never. If he knew this before, he would not join us. So, yeah, it happens. A picture of the whole crew with all the family members. In total, I think it was 27. And then we had to go back to the hotel on Pago Pago. This was our transport back to our hotel.
Hey, Adrian, you're there.
When we came back, few team members, they went to for a real cup of coffee or an ice cream. And he said, okay, after 10 days we have earned it, but the others went in the morning at 9:30 to the bar. This was the last evening. Alex Jennings had organized a very nice dinner for us. But the whole family was also over there. We got some presents from him, some nice things to remember, a signed book of Swains Island. That's perfect to read the complete history of the island. I must say it was great. It was a nice ending of our expedition. And at that time, we had to fly back home. A picture of the whole team. Some statistics about the QSO that we have made. You see in total 91,629. We were happy with it. And if we had 2 more days, then we had the 100,000 QSOs. But we were satisfied with the results. And if you look to the QSO amount, FT8 is the highest QSO numbers. That's a pity. But okay. We noticed you was calling CQ in CW. One moment there was nobody calling anymore. You went to FT8 and there was a big pile-up. So very strange, but that happens these days. More people are active on FT8 instead of active on the normal modes. But we tried it on all bands. Most of the QSOs on 160 meters. I did those QSOs. I was there nearly every time. If I was during the evening and the night, I was on 160 meters. And one of the things that was very special, I listened only on the vertical. It was not necessary to listen on receiving antennas because the noise level was 0, and that was very nice. Some other statistics about the people that got a new DXSC or a new complete band slots. And in total, if you look at from Club Lock, nearly 5,000 people got a new DXSC. But there's only the statistics from Club Lock, so I'm quite sure that many, many more people had a new DXSC country. Where we were a little bit proud of, that was the amount of QSOs with Europe, North America, and with Asia. Most of the time there's always a big difference. Let's say many North Americans or many Asians, but we equally spread it out. So at the end we said, okay, we can be very happy about it. We have given all countries, all areas the same attention. So it was good. Some more things. There's about the QSLing. I won't mention it now. Over here, the logos of our sponsors. Now, so already I've seen it. GMDX is also over there, one of our sponsors. We had a lot of sponsors. Most of the sponsors were from Europe because it was on the most wanted list for Europe, very high. And some logos of other sponsors of us. The only one is missing. There's Wimo from Germany. I noticed. So, but you need the clubs. Because that is still a financial, they support you with some finance, and that is very important, especially if you're going on a very big expedition, because the costs are very high. Some other things, I think at the moment, I'm running out of time. I'm at the end of the, are there some questions? Yeah, okay.
Finance, Ronald, obviously you got a lot of donations. I was wondering what the input from the individual was. Wonder what the expedition cost you each financially.
Okay, yes, what has it cost us? In total, the cost that we had was 125,000 euros. But we got a lot of sponsorship, QSL income, and I think at the end it cost each operator around 6,000 euros. But what I didn't mention in the beginning, this was our second attempt. The first attempt was just before COVID. We had to cancel it for COVID. And all those operators that were in the first attempt there lost each 2,000 euros because we had to break open our contract with the Alex Jennings. So we lost at that time all the money. So operators that were from the second team only costed 6,000 euros each, and other operators costed 8,000 euros. Yeah, okay.
More questions?
Yeah.
More questions, anyone?
Just wondering,
Yeah.
do you have any problems with sand blowing in through the ventilation into the radios or with moisture caused by the condensation?
No, completely nothing. All the equipment was still working till the end. Everything was working fine. We had only with the flex radio we had a problem with it, but that had some problem with the amplifier at one moment. But normally by the humidity and by the salt, we had no problems at all. The only thing what we noticed is that on all the amplifiers, the expert amplifiers, all the bolts on it were completely rusted, completely corroded. And that was after 14 days. So I was at home, I was saying, I have to replace them all. So, but everything was working fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Were you aware while you were out there the level of deliberate QRM that was there? I mean, it seems to be becoming more and more common on these rare DXs. Mm-hmm. How did you, if possible, deal with that?
Yeah, of course, we noticed the DQRM that was made on our frequencies. If we notice that, most of the time if the signals were good, you call stations, you call them again and again, and you notice, there must be some QRM on my frequency. And at that time, the only thing what you can do is continue calling that station that you were calling, even if it takes 2 minutes and 1 moment. Yeah, you have to continue. You cannot do anything about it. You can say, okay, I can QSY or something like that, but there's also a waste of time. So you want to be there for all the others. So, but we noticed that there was a lot of DQRM on our frequencies. Yes.
Hi. It's the first time I've seen somebody using bandpass filters, low pass and then high pass. Is that something? Is this the first time you did that, or is this something from a previous expedition that it gives some kind of extra between the two stations? How much extra does it give to have both of them?
Okay. First of all, yeah, the low bandpass filters is perfect for if you're making some QRM, let's say some harmonic from your radio to the amplifier that don't be amplified, and also at the end of the amplifier, one of the profits is with especially with transistor amplifiers, the experts. a lot of times if he noticed a strong signal from one of the other bands, he said, there's high SWR, and he switched off. And we didn't have that problem at all. So that was the profit of the high bandpass filters behind the amplifiers. And all the operators have said, at the end, that this was the first expedition that we had, that there was no QRM at all from the other stations. So there was no interference. And even in band, it was perfect. What I noticed one time, I was working on 10 meters SSB, 10 meters CW. I was in the Camp Blue, I had the verticals, and after my shift was over, I was talking with Martin, PA3EWP, and he said, you had a nice pile-up on 10 meters. I said, yes, I had also a very nice pile-up on 10 meters. He was working SSB on 10 meters, I was working CW on 10 meters, and we didn't notice it from each other. So that was one of the profits. And even if it was, let's say, on 10 meters, if somebody was operating on 20 meters, yeah, you could hear the third harmonic, but that is quite normal. But you had no interference from the other stations. So there was no QRM at all. So you could go to a band, operate perfectly. And one of the things was also maybe nice to tell. When we were on 10 meters, Martin was using the hex beam. I was using the VDA. I was working most of the time only Europe, and Martin told me he didn't work any Europe, no Europe at all on the hex beam. So that is the difference between a vertical and a horizontal antenna. The vertical on the beach is working perfectly, especially for DX. Is that answering the question?
Thanks very much.
Yeah? Okay.
One last quick question.
Okay.
No? Okay.
I'm
I'm sure that you'll get an opportunity to ask Ron another question later on, during the coffee break or later on. Thanks very much, and please show your appreciation.
Thank you.